You've seen this script before. A crowd gathers, chanting for change. A symbol, a gesture, a hashtag goes viral. A government that seemed untouchable just a week ago suddenly starts to crack. But what if I told you this isn't new? Not even close. This is a story. A playbook that's been used in almost every major uprising in history, from the bustling forums of ancient Rome to the digital streets of Cairo. The steps are shockingly familiar. The patterns are the same. And often, so is the outcome. You've probably heard the saying. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Well, when you look at revolutions separated by thousands of years, that rhyme becomes a deafening chorus. It's not a coincidence. It's a predictable pattern. Think of society as a complex machine. When certain parts start to fail in a specific order, the whole thing is destined for a breakdown. Now, this isn't about perfect one-to-one comparisons. The tech and the sheer scale of modern life have changed the game. But the core drivers, the very human sparks of grievance, desperation, and hope, they're timeless. Revolutions, ancient and modern, tend to follow a life cycle. A crisis of legitimacy, a catastrophic trigger, mass mobilization, a decisive reaction from the state, and finally, a new and often messy political reality. Think of it as a revolutionary playbook, and to really get it, we need to go back to one of its earliest and most dramatic uses, the fall of the Roman Republic. For centuries, the Roman Republic was the superpower of its world, but by the 1st century BCE, it was rotting from the inside out. This is where we see stage 1 of the playbook, a crisis of grievance and legitimacy. A massive gap had exploded between the mega-rich elite and the struggling masses. The social contract, the unspoken agreement that everyone has a place and a purpose, was like a fraying rope about to snap. Small-time farmers, the backbone of the army, were being squeezed off their land by aristocrats, creating a volatile, jobless urban class in Rome that was like a pile of dry tinder waiting for a match. The government, the Senate, was widely seen as corrupt and out of touch, interested only in protecting its own power. The system was broken. The people were paying the price with poverty, while the nobles just fought over the spoils. That spark, the trigger event, came again and again. Reformers like the Gracchi brothers tried to pass laws to give land back to the poor, only to be assassinated by the elites. Each act of violence just proved the point. The game was rigged. This crumbling trust led to stage 3, mass mobilization. But in Rome, this wasn't just about protests. It was about the privatization of violence. Powerful generals, Marius, Sulla, Pompey, and Caesar started recruiting soldiers from the poor, promising them land and cash. Their loyalty was not to the Roman state, but to the general who paid them. The state's monopoly on force, its ultimate source of authority, was like a crown jewel being stolen and duplicated by powerful warlords. Politics was no longer a debate. It was about who had the biggest army. This led straight to the final stages. The state reaction was a series of brutal civil wars that tore the Republic apart. The climax was Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon River with his army, a literal point of no return. The old government was powerless. After his assassination, his heir, Octavian, crushed all rivals and swept away the last decayed pieces of the Republic. The settlement? The end of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire under an absolute ruler. Emperor Augustus. An old elite was gone, swept away by a military strongman who used popular anger as a ladder to grab power for himself. Remember that pattern. You're about to see it again. Fast forward 2,000 years to 2010. The Arab world was a powder keg. It was stage 1 all over again, a legitimacy crisis. Across the region, huge populations of young, educated people had no jobs and no future. Decades of rule by autocrats had created dizzying inequality and corruption. Just like in Rome, a huge number of people felt they were stuck on a road to nowhere, their lives controlled by a distant, unaccountable elite. Then came the trigger event. On December 17, 2010, a Tunisian street vendor named Mohamed Bouazizi had his cart confiscated, humiliated, and desperate. He set himself on fire. His act was the spark that lit the tinder. Within days, protests ignited across the entire region. What came next was stage 3, mass mobilization. But this revolution had a new kind of weapon. News of Bouazizi's protests spread like wildfire on Facebook and Twitter. These platforms acted like a central nervous system for the uprising, allowing millions to coordinate, share information, and see they were not alone in their anger. This led to a classic feature of the playbook, the urban concentration of protest, just as Romans packed the forum. Modern protesters took over central squares. Tahrir Square in Cairo became the symbolic heart of Egypt's revolution. The state reaction was swift and predictable. In Tunisia and Egypt, when the military refused to fire on the massive crowds, the leaders' power evaporated. In places like Libya and Syria, however, the state's reaction was all-out violence, sparking brutal civil wars, a dark echo of Rome's own bloody collapse. So, what was the post-uprising settlement? It was messy. Tunisia managed to build a fragile democracy, but in Egypt, it was like a hostile takeover of a company. The people, the shareholders, had successfully forced out the old CEO, Hosni Mubarak, but the initial hope gave way to infighting. After a brief democratic experiment, the military, led by General El-Sisi, stepped back in, ousting the newly elected president and reasserting control, like a powerful board member installing their own CEO to restore the old order under a new name. From the Gracchi brothers to Mohamed Bouazizi, from the Roman Forum to Tahrir Square, the playbook is eerily consistent. Deep grievance, a shocking catalyst, new tech used to mobilize the masses, and a power struggle that often ends not with democracy, but with a new form of concentrated power. This pattern of revolution isn't just some historical curiosity. It's a fundamental force that is still shaping our world. Understanding these deep currents of history is more important than ever. And if you're looking to understand the forces shaping your own world, especially your financial one, this revolutionary playbook isn't just for toppling empires. We see the same patterns in more focused economic uprisings. Look at the massive farmers' protests in India that started in 2020. Hundreds of thousands of farmers marched on the capital, Delhi, blockading it for over a year. Let's run through the playbook. The grievance? Farmers feared new laws would destroy a system of guaranteed prices, leaving them at the mercy of huge corporations. It felt like the government, the referee, was suddenly changing the rules of the game to favor the other team. It was a direct threat to their economic survival. The trigger? The passage of the laws themselves. The mobilization? The farmers used a brilliant mix of old and new. They organized through unions and tight-knit communities, but also used social media to coordinate and fight the government's narrative. Their tactics were straight out of the history books: mass demonstrations and, crucially, blocking major highways into the capital, effectively cutting off the arteries to the heart of the government. This is a direct echo of countless peasant revolts, which were almost always sparked by economic threats like new taxes or land seizure. They mobilized through village networks and blocked trade routes. The Indian farmers' protest was a modern version of that ancient struggle, the fight of those who work the land against a distant central authority. The outcome in India was a rare win. The government eventually repealed the laws, showing that mass mobilization, when sustained, can force a state to back down. So why does this keep happening? It's because while technology and politics change, human nature and the dynamics of power don't. Every society is built on a foundation of perceived legitimacy. the belief that the system is basically fair. When that foundation cracks from corruption and inequality, the whole house becomes unstable. All it takes is a single, dramatic event to send a shockwave through the system and turn simmering anger into collective action. The tools for mobilization evolve, from the printing press to the social media feed, but their job is the same. It's like using different types of messengers, from a rider on horseback to a fiber optic cable, to deliver the same urgent call to arms. And once an uprising kicks off, the state always faces the same choice: give in, crack down, or fracture. Most importantly, the aftermath reveals a final, sobering pattern. Revolutionary unity is fragile. It's like a group of people who all agree to tear down an old building, but have completely different blueprints for what should replace it. The solidarity forged in opposition often shatters when it's time to govern, leading to power vacuums, infighting, and the rise of new leaders who might be just as autocratic as the ones they replaced. From Rome to Cairo, the script is followed with startling precision. The grievances are the same. The triggers are the same. The struggle for power is the same. It leaves us with a pretty big question. If the playbook is this clear, who's actually using it, and for what purpose? What do you think? Are we just stuck repeating these patterns forever? Or can we learn from the past to build a better future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this analysis insightful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the forces that shape our world. Thanks for watching.